Hello everyone, and welcome to the sharing challenge task. Here there are different questions. Hopefully you have already done this on your own and are wanting to look at the answers. Otherwise, if you haven't, feel free to step along with us, pause the video, or just, say what you would say on each one and see if it is the correct response or not. Since we are going through this together, I'm going to go ahead and expand this. This will show the responses and if it's correct or not. So as we go through this, it'll kind of show those notes. The first one, true or false. It is best practice that anytime you share a sheet, anything on that must be okay for the recipient to see. In this case, that would be true. While there are different options to be able to protect ranges, there are so many different things that could happen, like someone who's not supposed to share it or change an option, show a hidden sheet. So you will want to make sure they can see anything on that because stuff can happen. 2, choose the best option. A coworker on your team needs access to a spreadsheet of client data to see the quote data. The best option to ensure data quality would be what? Owner, editor, commenter, or viewer. In this case, you wouldn't want them to be the owner when they just need to view it. Since they just need to view and not need to do anything else, viewer would be the best. Now, commenter could work as well. While viewing is going to be the best answer for this situation, viewers can't edit as well. They can just leave comments or things. So unless they just go crazy with comments, it's really not going to make a difference. Editing, they may accidentally remove data, so viewer and potentially commenter. Next is situation. Choose the best sharing option. A client wants to work with your team to make sure all the data is accurate. The sheet only has data pertaining to their business and wants to be able to provide feedback if any discrepancies are found. So what would be the best sharing option? Owner would not be, because they could edit it, and while it only pertains to their business, you wouldn't want them to potentially, delete it or remove it or something. Editor, they would also be able to change the data, and that's not the best either. It's between commenting and viewer. In this case, commenting would be the best because they could leave a comment or they could leave a note if there's issues found, and that would make it so your team could easily address those specific cells. Number 4. True or false? Protecting a sheet means no one else can see the sheet unless they are on the list. Well, that would be false because protecting the sheet means that you are either making it so no one can edit the sheet or a range, not to be able to see it or not. You can hide different sheets. However, anyone with edit access or above would be able to unhide it, so anyone could see. Number 5, when would you protect a range over protecting an entire sheet? If you want them to edit the whole sheet, there's only a cell or a range you don't want someone to edit, but the rest you do. There's a sheet you don't want them to edit at all, or you don't want them to view. So if it's a range, that means that you are protecting only parts of it. So like a column, a row, or specific cells. And so maybe there are certain ones with formulas you don't want them to edit, but you want them to be able to edit other parts of it. That would make the most sense of a range. If you don't want them to edit anything on that sheet, you would protect the entire sheet. Number 6, true or false? You have to copy and paste charts every time you want to update them in Google Docs or Google Slides. False. You're able to paste it linked. Now, if you want to, you can just copy and paste it so it's static and not changing, but you might as well, especially if you're wanting to update it. 7, if you have 10 columns and 200 rows in a table that you want to print, and you want all 10 columns to show on each page, which one would most likely be the best setting to print? Fit to page, fit to height, fit to width, or normal 100%. This one's going to, since there's over 200 rows, fitting to the page would not be, because that's a lot of cells in, not very much space. If you fit it to height, it's going to show all 200 rows and not necessarily the 10 columns. Fit to width will fit all the 10 of those columns, which is the width, and then going through the rows, you can do that. You can also, as we kind of showed in the last video, you can also freeze the top column and then have that be on each one. Finally, you notice the complex formula has been deleted and is causing issues in your spreadsheet. So what's the best step to get this formula back? Rewrite it from scratch. Go to version history and recover the sheet or formula before it was deleted. Put a protect range rule on the cell. Add a comment in the cell to figure out who deleted it. Now, while there's some parts of this that could be done, the best one would be version history. Version history allows you to go into the past, look at the sheets, and be able to recover that. So hopefully, on Monday you found it and it was working fine on Friday, you'd be able to see who was in there over the weekend or in the past, who might have accidentally deleted it or what happened, and be able to recover that formula before it was deleted. You can also save a copy of where it was now or name the version to be able to make sure if there was any other information that should have been added, stays added. So that is the best one. Again, you could put a protective rule on the range later, but that isn't going to recover it. But again, if there's a formula, that is a good way to prevent it, but it isn't the solution to recover it. Adding a comment in the cell to figure out who did it, while comments can be helpful, probably saying, all right, who messed up isn't going to be that great of a answer. It's not very helpful, just a little passive aggressive. Hopefully these questions made sense. If you have any comments on it or you feel that there's an answer you put that should have been something else, please feel free to let us know. But overall here, we have completed sharing. And sharing, again, is one of the best ways to really show those around you or at your work that you know what you're doing in a spreadsheet. So putting these to practice, I think, will really help out your business as well as yourself being able to present and professionally give these and work with your team. So hopefully you found this section helpful. In the next one, we're going into numbers. I'm honestly pretty stoked about that. It's one of the most frustrating things to work with, like dates and things like that. And as we go into it and really dive in to understand how numbers are stored in Google Sheets, you'll be able to solve a lot of those different problems that you may have faced in the past, or you'll prevent having to face those, and the future you will thank yourself that you don't have to do those. Thanks again for watching. As always, do those YouTube things, likes, subscribes, leave comments, questions, anything there, and I'll do my best to answer them. Thank you again, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye now.